Hey guys, this is Neo once again from the Overclocker magazine. So today, as you can tell, we're here to talk about the second part of my Wootware WootBook Y16, or rather Wootware's WootBook Y16. So it's been a month and 2 weeks since I've been using this notebook, and I must say, performance wise, I am impressed with what it's actually capable of doing. I mean, from the specification, I didn't really expect much in terms of gaming, but if you turn it down to 1920 1200, as I said in the previous review, or the first part of this review rather, you find that there's a lot of performance that you can actually get here. And because of this pixel density, I mean, it's a 16-inch screen, right? So everything still looks sharp. So you don't necessarily have to pay 2560 by 1600, which is the native res of the screen, of course. And even if you think about it, you wouldn't ask of desktop 4070 to play 1600p. So you wouldn't necessarily then expect the mobile variant of that to do that with a narrower bus width, right? So I think in terms of performance for gaming, if you stick to 1920 by 1200 or 1080 if you will, then I think you'll be fine in terms of gaming, and you'll actually be able to see that in the benchmarks. But anyway, without further waffle from me, let's just get on with the numbers. First up is 3D Mark Time Spy and its successor Nomad. Now both these benchmarks don't have ray tracing, so they are more rasterized benchmarks. But as we can see here, the turbo, or i.e. the overclock configuration, is delivering a healthy performance boost. Next up is 3D Mark again, but this time with ray tracing, of course, Speedway and Port Royal. These tests are, in my opinion, way more important than the previous ones, as ray tracing isn't going anywhere, and we are most likely going to get it in an increasing number of games. As you'd expect, the turbo mode is in the lead here. For those who like to extract even more performance, you can actually turn down the CPU TDP, which gives the GPU more breathing room. However, the benefits of that will vary between title and title, or benchmark and benchmark. Right then, so next up we have PC Mark 10's extended tests, which are exactly what you'd expect. They don't benefit from the notebook's turbo mode, so what you see here is performance when plugged in the balanced mode and when you are using battery mode. With the synthetic test done, I decided to move on to the standard gaming tests, which are actually what matter here and what I was actually here to tell you about. So first up, we have Forza Horizon 5. This game runs exceptionally well, probably on anything, regardless of the mode you have it in. I think anything above 60 FPS here is great, and this notebook is able to do just that without even using DLSS. So when it's on, things get even a bit better for you. That said, if you don't need the additional performance, why not save your ears and power cap the performance to 60 FPS, and you'll see a sizable drop in power consumption with maximum GPU power draw of around 60 watts. Dying Light 2 is the next game, another fairly well optimized title for the most part. That said, playing without DLSS is not really recommended here, as you'll just break into the mid-60s. However, using DLSS allows performance to jump to over 90 FPS, and once again, if you want to cap the frame rate, you can actually reduce the power consumption as well, something that you may find interesting for you to do if you're on the road and gaming on the GeForce Graphics GPU instead of the IGP. Hitman 3 is getting old now, or Hitman World of Assassination, but it's still a good performance measure for GPUs and CPUs for the most part. That said, in this title, you could probably play at the native resolution if you turned off ray tracing, but I would rather play with ray tracing on and play at 1920 by 1200. Metro Exodus, the enhanced edition, is the next one. This one doesn't even have the option of not using ray tracing, so DLSS is a must here. That said, at the ultra quality settings, or rather the extreme quality settings which are used, DLSS is actually going to be necessary. The Y16 proves once again that it's more than capable of handling this game, even though you don't quite get 60 FPS. Again, if you turn down the detail settings, you'll be able to go above 60 FPS, or if you use performance or balance mode instead of the quality mode. And then finally, we have Red Dead Redemption 2. Even up to this day, this benchmark, or this game rather, can still bring a high-end machine to its knees, provided that you max out all the settings. Again, playing at 1920 by 1200, you can actually break the 100 FPS mark, which is just absolutely incredible for a game that looks this good. With that said, that's enough of the gaming benchmarks and synthetic benchmarks. I hope I've given you a fairly accurate assessment of what you should be expecting in terms of performance when it comes to the Wootware WootBook Y16, particularly in this configuration. Okay, so you've seen the numbers for yourself, right? I mean, in terms of gaming performance, I think that's probably the advantage that you would appreciate about going for the 4070 over the 4060, because even though the price difference is rather large, in terms of longevity, the 4070 is going to last you way longer. Outside of the notebook's camera and maybe the speakers that could do with being about 4 times as loud, I really have no issues with this notebook. And in the time that I've actually used it video editing all my videos on this notebook, I've grown to actually appreciate the power that it actually has. And in terms of what you're being asked to pay versus what you're getting, pretty darn good. Anyway, that's enough from me about Wootware's WootBook Y16. It's been a pleasure using this for over a month, and yeah, if you are fortunate enough, I think you'll probably struggle to do a lot better than this one for a reasonable amount of money. With that said, let me know what you guys think of the notebook. Remember to share, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Take care of yourselves and peace.